Hey everyone, my name is Daniel, and in today's video, we'll take a look at how you can manage your credentials in Power Automate for Desktop. And this is a question that I've been asked a lot. Specifically, how can I automate the use of these credentials in a safe and secure way? So in this video, I'll show you how you can do it two different ways, and one of them, I'll walk you through it step by step. So stick around, this truly is important specifically for your RPAs. But first, here's my intro video. So before we jump into the how, let's talk about the why. Like, why should I be even considering that? And the first thing that comes to my mind is typing passwords is time consuming and error prone, especially if your passwords are long and they've got all these wildcards in them. You can make mistakes over there. So let's completely avoid that problem, which is making it time consuming and avoiding errors. Next, we come up with our own makeshift ways to save our passwords. And honestly, that can be unsafe. And I'll give you two examples. One of them is people will go ahead and put them in their own OneNote or store it on a SharePoint site, both of which sound like good ideas, but they are completely unsafe. Next, automating a way to go ahead and access them securely. Because let's face it, finding the place to keep it is one thing, but to go ahead and get the information on a routine basis, that's equally important. And finally, having a variety of options available, because we just don't want to be siloed using just one method. There should be some options for you to pick from. So these are the four reasons, the whys, why I need a way to handle these passwords in a safe and secure way. So let's transition over to what Power Automate for Desktop has to offer. And these are the two ones. On the left, you see CyberArk, which is a third-party company. And on the right, you see Key Vault, which is part of a Microsoft Azure services. Now, let's talk about CyberArk. CyberArk is a third-party company. A third-party company means it is not Microsoft owned. It is another company which specializes in securing your authentication and all these credentials. In Power Automate for Desktop, there is actually an action. So if you go into your Power Automate for Desktop, you will search under actions, something very specific under CyberArk. And when you go to the CyberArk, these are the action properties that you see. In fact, if you've got an on-premises server, you can also go and use that. See, one of the properties over there is called as server address. And then you can go ahead and put in your authentication, specifically tie down to which folder that you have, extract the data. If you have certificates, you can go ahead and use all of that. But this is one of the options that is available. I don't have a demo for this, but at least I wanted to present you with all of these facts because you can at least go ahead and leverage them if this is one of the functionality, which is CyberArk, that you're already using in your company and you don't want to transition to something else. You've already got this flexibility to go ahead and use this in Power Automate for Desktop. Next is Key Vault. And this is a Microsoft feature that is provided out of the box and also functional in Power Automate for Desktop. And this is the one that I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So let's take a look at what comes along with this. The first thing is you need an Entra ID app, and you are probably already familiar with it. I'll even show you the Entra ID app that I already created. Second is the Key Vault itself. That's the one that I'll walk you through step by step because that's the actual feature that we're going to use. Third is you go ahead and start a cloud flow, and then finally go ahead and get the information from a desktop flow, because let's face it, you want to send that information to the desktop flow so you can actually make use of it. And so here are the steps that I'm going to show you. First of all, we go ahead and create the Entra ID app, and I'll show you the one that I've already created. Next, we'll create the Key Vault. That's the important one because here is where you go ahead and save what's called as your secret, your password. After that, we will start building the desktop flow, but we will have to put a pause on it. And it'll make more sense when I actually walk you through that. Because after that, we're going to transition over to the cloud flow because that's where the actual flow is going to be triggered. And then once we finish the cloud flow, we come back into the desktop flow and then finish it off. Now, it shows as 5 steps, but it is very simple and straightforward. And the example that I'm going to show you is how to go ahead and get a password from Key Vault to open up your Excel spreadsheet, which has been encrypted using that password. I'll walk you through that step by step. So now that you understand the entire process, Let me switch over and show you a hands-on demo. So the first thing we need to do is go and get our Entra ID app registered. And you might already be familiar with it, or you've got a dedicated team to do that. So either way, go ahead and get this done. I've already created my own, but I want to show you what it is. So in my app registrations on my Microsoft Azure, when I come to all applications, this one over here, Key Vault app, when I go and click on it and specifically go into my certificates and key, this is the value that's specifically valued. That's the one that I need to go and now complete my Key Vault process. Also, when you come directly up into the overview, make sure that you've got this client app ID information over here. Also go and get your tenant ID, like all of this key information, make sure that you have a copy of that as well, all right? Because you're going to need that for all the following steps. But this is pretty simple. You've got now your Entra ID app registered very specifically for the Azure Vault, and this step is completed. So now let's go into the Azure Vault section and create our first secret key over there. So I'm back in the homepage of my Microsoft Azure, and over here I already see Key Vaults. If you don't, that's fine. Just come up over here and do a search for Key Vault, and as I just type in the V, you see that I already see Key Vaults, right? So that's an easy way to find out. Now I'll go and click on it, and I'm going to click on plus create. Now when I click on plus create, you've got to already have some of this done. First thing is the subscription. So in my case, I already have this subscription ready, so that's what I'm going to use. You might already have some subscription sections ready in your tenant. You will have some resource groups also created. This is the stuff that you should already have in your tenant set up by your IT team. So just go along with what works for your specific department. All right, so now I'm going to actually say is over here for Key Vault name, I'm going to say Power Automate for Desktop, Excel. I'm just going to leave it at that. After that, the region is fine because I live on the eastern side of US. Fine. The pricing tier, I'm also good with the standard. I'll scroll down. Everything else looks good. So I'll just go and click on next. After that, the Azure role-based access control, that is the recommended one. And this is the direction that Microsoft is going in. So I'm going to leave that as is because I've already got my RBAC or role-based authentication already set up. So I'll just leave this as is. And over here, you can pick and choose any resource access that you need. I've got everything that I need over here, so I'm just going to go and click on review and plus create. So we are over here. It just did a verification. After that, I'll just go and click on create. And now it is going ahead and creating everything. This is deploying in process. It is going ahead and started the deployment, keeps all the information that I need. So here, I'm just going to specifically wait for it. And there you go. My deployment is complete. So here I can go and click on the go to resource. And this is the one, Power Automate for Desktop Excel. It's in the overview. Everything else looks good. So next, I'm going to focus my attention on the access control IAM. So when I click over here and I go to my role assignments, you will already see that by default, some roles have already been assigned by you because you just created the secret. And so you're already the owner. And then you've also got a contributor by this service account for Teams Request app, right? So this was already there. But it's important for you to understand a few of the roles that are here. So I'm going to show you two important ones. So when I go to plus add and I click on add role assignment, there are a few roles that you need to be aware of. So first, let's look at it from the administrator standpoint. All right. So when I go and just type in admin, you see Key Vault Administrator. So if I go and select this one, and if I go now to my members, for the members, you can add it as individual users or groups or even service principals. So let's try by adding individual users first right now. So over here, I'll go and say do a search for my buddy Finn, who is my dog. Selected, it's been selected. I go and now click on the select. So now Finn has the access of Key Vault Administrator. I can go and say review and assign. Go and say review and assign again. It is going in and assigning the role over here. And we are back into roles and assignments, and you see Key Vault Administrator has been assigned to Finn. There's two more I want to show you. I'll go and click on the add, and I will, in this roles, I'm just going to do a search for secret. All right. So when I do a secret, you see Key Vault secret user, because this could be important that you've already gone ahead and created your Key Vault. Secrets has been assigned over there. And at the end of the day, your developers or your makers, they just need to come over here and get the secret. That is it. For those type of people, the Key Vault secret user role is perfect. So I go and select on that one, go to the members, in the users or in service principal, same thing, leave it as is. Go ahead and add over here. I'll go and now select another name, another potential user, select the username, click on the select. Now I can do a review, and then after the review is good, we can go ahead and do an assigning. Assigning has started, and so you see now the next role category has come up over here. So starting to make sense how you go ahead and now segregate exactly the type of roles that you need, because this is something you can plan for your scenario, and that's exactly what I'm doing over here. But an important step right over here is something what people miss, and that is going to cause errors in the future, is also assigning a role to that app that we just registered in Entra ID. And just to be clear, let's go back into our app registrations, and you see that Key Vault app. That's the app that I already registered, and I also need to give that app access. So let me go back into my Key Vault in the access control area, which I already was. Go and click on add role assignments. This one is just going to be the secret user. So that's the one right over here, Key Vault secrets user. Select it, go to select it, go to next, which switches over to the members. I'll leave it over here for user group or service principal. Plus select, and here I'm going to specifically search for Key Vault app right over there. Okay, I'm going to search for Key Vault. I just put the V, and there you go. Key Vault app also showed up. It shows up as an application. Select it, and then over here I'll click on select, and it shows up, which is good. I'll do a review plus assign. Reviewing it, I'll go and now assign it. This is a very, very key step. People have forgotten to do this because they just assume it's a user level, but you also have to give that app that you just registered this Key Vault access as well, because this is an important step from the automation standpoint that you and I are just going to create. All right. So hopefully this step sinks into you, the different roles that are available. And if you're the one who's going to go ahead and now create all these secrets specifically for this new Vault role, then you need to also give yourself the Key Vault administrator. And I'll tell you why. Check this out. If I go to secrets right now, you see it says this operation is not allowed by role-based authentication control RBAC. That's because you haven't added yourself over there. I'll go back into my access configuration, go to view access control. In my roles, I need to go and add me as the administrator. So I'll click on the add role. I'll go and do a search for Vault. I'll go and do a search for admin. And that's the one, Key Vault administrator. Select that. Click on next. I'll go ahead and now add myself over here. So I'm going to do a search for myself. This is it. Select, go and review plus assign. All right, go ahead and review it. It is assigning that role to me. So now under Key Vault administrators, I am also an admin. So now if I go to secrets, I no longer see that warning message. Cool? All right. Let's go and finish the final step over here, which is actually go ahead and create our key. Now it says key, but this is where you go ahead and now save your passwords as well, because you might already have generated passwords that you want to use. This is where you go and put that in. Okay, it's a secret. So I'll click on the plus generate. The manual is good. Here I got to go and give it a name. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to call this as the exact same, which is Excel. Which is Excel. The secret value, it automatically went ahead and generated one. What I'm going to do is I'll actually go ahead and make this super duper one. It's for the sake of this example. That's the password that I want to use. And then you've got these other options. If you're on the IT administrative side, somebody went and gave you a ticket. You only want the secret value to be activated, say on that following Monday or whatever. That's where the activation date is done. Also, good idea to go ahead and set an expiration date. The expiration date basically just enforces that, hey, this secret value needs to be changed in whatever timeline that your company uses, whether it's 90 days or 180 days or 365, whatever. For those reasons, you go and set that expiration date. This is an example, so I'm going to leave both of those as blank, and I'll leave that as enabled, and I'll go and click on create. There you go. It automatically went and created that super fast, so we're good. So now I just need to make sure I have all the attributes that I need from this place. So the first thing is the Vault name. That's what I'm going to use. My Vault name in this case is the PAD, P-A-D, Excel. Then there is the secret name. This is my secret. In my case, the Vault name and the secret name is the exact same. If you've gone and created separate ones, make sure that you have it over here. Then is actually the secret value. This is the value that we went and put in. And then after that, I also have all my Azure app registrations, which I went ahead and captured all of that as well. So we're good. We're good from the Azure or the Entra side. Now let's go and start building both the cloud and the desktop flows. So the first thing I want to do is go and create our connection for the password vault. And to do that, we come to the cloud flows, click on plus more, click on connections. On the top left where it says plus new connection, click on it. And now on the top right, I'll just do a search for Vault, V-A-U-L-T, and there you go, Azure Key Vault came up. I'll go and click on this plus, and this one, which authentication type by default is client certificate auth. I'll click on the drop down and select service principal authentication. This feature over here is the exact same using the Entra ID app that we just registered, right? And if you can see, these are all the things. There's the client ID, client secret, tenant ID, key vault name. Starting to make sense? This is all the information we already just captured. So let me just go ahead and paste all of these in and click on create. All right, so I'm done adding over that. And just to make sure, if I come over here and do a search for my vault, there you go. The Azure Vault password, that's the one that I've created. All right, it's got all my credentials over here. The status is still connected just to make sure that all the authentications that I put in, all the keys and everything is correct. All right, so this is basically what it is. This is what we're going to now use in our desktop flow that we'll start building first. So let me switch over now into my Power Automate for desktop. Making sure that I'm in the exact same environment where we went and created that connection. I'll click on the plus new. I'll go and call this as Open Encrypted Excel Spreadsheet. Go and click on Create. Another window opens up. I'll go and do a search for Excel. In my Excel, I'm specifically looking for this Launch Excel. Select it, drag and drop, put it over here. And over here, I'm actually launching an existing Excel spreadsheet of mine. So I'll go and click on this drop down and say, open the following document. It wants the path of the entire document. So for that, it's easier if I just open up my Explorer. This is the location of my spreadsheet. See over here, super secret spreadsheet. I got to make sure I get the entire location. So I'll click on the backslash and even grab that Excel spreadsheet. All right, so now I'm going to click on Shift, Home, highlighted the whole thing, do a Control C. Let me just minimize this, and then now I'll go ahead and paste it over here. I got all of it. In addition, on the advanced, we're going to be coming over here and getting some information. Right now, we don't have this yet, and that's why I was saying that at least get this much done, switch over to the cloud flows, we'll finish the cloud flows, and we'll come back over here, all right? So just keep this in mind. We don't have this just yet, so I'm just going to click on Save for now. Save is done. And then the last thing here is to go ahead and get an input variable. This is going to be the password. So I'm going to call this as var Excel password. And just to be clear, this is the password that we are going to get from the cloud, specifically from the vault. All right, so I'm going to put the variable name is there, external name, mark as sensitive because we want those passwords to be sent from the cloud to the desktop as encrypted as possible. Also, go ahead and toggle on this mark as sensitive because we want the password to come in as encrypted as possible from the cloud to the desktop. So definitely go ahead and toggle this mark as sensitive feature on. Cool. I'm going to click on Save, and then I'll do a save over here one more time, and then I'll go and close it, and we'll switch over to the cloud one. All right, cool. Go ahead and close this one. Now let's jump over to the cloud flow. Here I am, making sure I'm in the same environment. Go and click on Create. I'll do an instant cloud flow, manually trigger a flow, and I'll say send encrypted key to Excel spreadsheet. Click on Create. Let me just kind of zoom in a little bit over here. Okay, let me just make this up a little bit. The first thing we want to do is get secret. So I'll click on Add an Action, and in my search, I'm going to say get secret. Azure Vault came up, this get secret, go ahead and click on it. Now, if you've done everything correctly, when you click on the drop down, voila, Pad and Excel comes up. Remember, this is the one that you and I just created, made sure that all the access control was correct, including the app ID. If you've done all of this correctly, you will see it show up over here correctly. Now, if you don't see this over here, or you're getting some errors, something is wrong. Make sure you go ahead and check all your steps in the back. All right, just thought I'll let you know. All right, good. So we've got this one done over here. Now, finally, we got to run the desktop flow. So I'll go and do this search for run desktop. I already got the desktop flow showing up. Click on this one and it shows up on this side. Now, one more thing we have to do is for the desktop flow that we just created, it is actually expecting a value. What is that value? Well, it's actually expecting the secret. So first of all, let's select what that flow is. This is the one that we just created. Run mode, for now, I'm just going to do it as attended. And then there you go, the variable shows up. So when I click on this one and get the variable, this variable is going to be from the get secret, but it's the body / value. It's the value of the secret. So I'll go and select all of this and I'll go and click on save. Right now I'm getting an error over here. Let's go and check what that error is. The error is actually coming from the run of desktop flow. So if I go and click on this change connection, I just got to make sure that it needs the correct connection. So I'll just select that one. Now I'll go and click on save, cleared our password. So let me click on that one again. Click on the dynamics, get the body value. Now let me go ahead and click on save and make sure everything is good. Oh, good. The error went away. It is saving. Everything is good. We got the green check mark all the way. So let me just go back one more piece over here because we're going to actually run this manually. But one little thing left. Let's go back to our desktop flow. Let me open up this desktop flow once again. Hit on the pencil. It is loading. And I need to go ahead and update that Excel. And I need to go ahead and update that one action. So right here, that launch Excel, I'm going to double click on that one. In the advanced, come down over here and for read protection password, click on password as input variable. And for that one, go ahead and select our var Excel spreadsheet. Same thing for the write protection password. Click on the drop down and then select the variable that we just created. And there you go. I'll click on save. I'll click on save over here again. Now the desktop flow is also ready. So I'll go and X out of this one, but I want to prove something to you. So check this out. Let's go back and open up that Excel spreadsheet. If I if I double click on it, see, it doesn't directly get me in to see the table. It is asking for this password. But if you've done the desktop flow and the cloud flow correctly, this Excel spreadsheet should open up and I should be able to see the table. All right. So I'm going to click on this cancel for now, close the Excel spreadsheet. Let's go minimize the screen. Let me go up directly to my cloud flow and I'm going to go and run this flow. It's running for the first time, so it's making sure that all my connections are good. Perfect. 2 green check marks over here. Click on continue. Click on run a flow. The first time the flow is triggering, it started successfully, and over here now it is saying run. Now if everything goes well, I should also see a desktop flow which will come up, and then my Excel spreadsheet should open up very clearly. So let's see what happens. Refreshed it. It is still running. Oh, I see the Excel open up in the bottom. And if I go and open this up over here, see, now you directly went and I see all the data over here. It is not super secret. It just has some data over here. But you saw what we did, right? The desktop flow also went and took care of it, and that ran successfully. But you and I know that the Excel spreadsheet, when it opened up, it required the secret, but the desktop flow went ahead and provided that. Isn't this awesome? So as a quick recap, we first went ahead and registered an app on Entra ID because that is your service principal, and we got all the values we needed from there. Next, we went ahead and created our vault, and in the vault we used specifically the secret because secret is where we went ahead and put in our passwords. We also got to make sure that the service principal also has access over there at the vault. Next, we went and created the cloud flow. The cloud flow goes and gets the vault information and then sends that over into the desktop flow. And the desktop flow does the final step, opens up that Excel spreadsheet, puts in that key, which is basically the password, in an encrypted way, and then opens up that spreadsheet in a safe and secure way. Because we actually proved it, we were able to see the spreadsheet. So hopefully the step-by-step process helps you. And I did that for Excel. You can do that for any other applications that you need to do the exact same thing. Hopefully this video was helpful to you, and now you can go ahead and use your Power Automate for desktop, specifically the credentials, in a safe and secure manner. And as always, keep using Power Automate for desktop. Hello. So if you like this video, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and smash that like button. Also, if you have a few extra seconds, can you go ahead and put in a comment? Either say something nice or give me ideas for my next video. And until then, see ya.